I am actually very happy to be a part of that and very happy to work with Dr. Ajit and his team in all these kind of endeavors. So the topic that has been given to me is to introduce Python that is basically required for going into Sage Math of fundamentals, Sage Math fundamentals as well as advanced topics. So Ajit, my voice is audible, right? It's okay. Okay. So
yeah, we can hear you.
Python programming language, you might have already experienced a little bit of that thing, or you might have installed this Python software in your system. This is actually the base for the SageMath software, in the sense that SageMath software is mostly written in Python programming language. And maybe in between here and there, you may find some JavaScript related thing for visualization related things. Otherwise, most of the part of SageMath software it's written in Python. And I think up to SageMath 8, it was Python 2.x being used in SageMath software. And since SageMath 9 onwards, I think it's completely Python 3.x onwards. And these days, I think the most popular version, the most common version available in Ubuntu as well as Windows, I think it is Python 3.8. If I remember correctly, if I have noticed it correctly, it's Python 3.8. It doesn't matter. Python 3. Whatever you have, it's not going to make much difference for us, because Python 3 onwards, the syntax is more or less the same, except that there can be some minute variations here and there. But if you are using Python 2.x, there can be some issues. I don't really think that you will be using Python 2.x, because that has almost become, it has been almost, I think, 6 or 7 years that Python 3 has started. Python 2 was still existing basically because several other application software were written in Python 2, and it was still been difficult to move completely entire things to the new syntax. That's why Python 3 took some time for coming into the mainstream. Now I think Python 3 has become the standard. So we will be focusing on Python 3.x. And if you have Python 2, you need to probably check that, because some commands, some coding practices that I will be adapting will not or may not create some, may create some problem in Python 2.x. Okay, that's it about the introduction. Now let me share my screen. Okay, I will probably tell you about the software that you can probably install first. That the one software that you can probably install for running Python, Ajit, I think already have introduced, told about one of his lectures in which he has suggested you to install Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is the good thing about Jupyter Notebook, if you are using Jupyter Notebook, is that if you are if you are trying to learn SageMath, these days SageMath is also entirely running over Jupyter Notebook. Therefore, previously SageMath was having different notebook kind of structure. Now SageMath is running using Jupyter Notebook, and therefore it will be easy for you to compare it. It's easy for you to identify between these two things, that these two things are entirely the same. And one more thing to remember is that SageMath is running over Python 3 software, and therefore whatever Python command you type, that's going to run more or less without much trouble in the SageMath software also. So in the entire code that you are typing in Python, you can copy paste entirely to the SageMath software, and you can run it as it is. There should not be much trouble most of the times. There can be exceptions, of course. So Jupyter Notebook is one thing. I'm not going to tell about that thing, because all this Jupyter already Ajit has given one link for that. Maybe Ajit, you can share that a video link so that they can, after some time also, they can have a look at that NPTEL lecture exact page. Now the next thing I would like to suggest, if you are not using SageMath, is it's probably that the installable thing, Spider. Okay, the Spider is another software package manager, which is a little bit lightweight compared to several other things, but including almost all necessary, at least for learning basics of Python. That's more than enough. If you want to do something extra, some too highly advanced things in Python, some libraries may not be directly available in Spider, but for most of the purposes, the Spider is more than enough. I think you can see the screen now. I'm just taking you to this Spider homepage. From the Spider homepage, you can straight away go to the downloads. And Spider is available for almost all operating systems. Windows, it's available. Ubuntu or Mint or whatever Linux system, it seems to be available. And after that, yeah, download for Linux. Anaconda is also there. The Anaconda is another actually a big package system that contains Spider as a subset of it. Okay, Anaconda is a huge package system that contains a lot of things, lot of libraries are there. That's actually a complete Python programming package, contains almost all the libraries required for statistics or mathematics or numerical related calculations or symbolic calculations. Almost all these things are available in Anaconda, but naturally it's a little bit big package, and you can download that for Linux, or it is showing only Linux basically because I think I am using a Linux system, therefore it automatically detects what type of system you are using. If you are opening this page, that spider-id.org, and then you will be directly seeing this, and you will be seeing this download icon, download button here. Clicking on that, you can go to this, and you might download this installer also. Once you download the installer, you can using the usual procedure, using the usual installation procedure, you may straight away install it. One good thing with Spider is that if you want to install Spider alone, not Anaconda full edition, then you may directly use the system software manager. I think in the system software manager, I don't think that Anaconda is available as it is. Anaconda is a huge subset, a huge superset, as I thought, of Spider. So if you want to install Spider alone is more than enough for running basic things. If you want to basic things plus some extra math packages. So Spider alone, if you require, then you can directly go to your software manager, and then you can download that Spider, and then you can install. Installation using the usual procedure of whatever installation you usually do. That is one thing. And another thing is, as Ajit already pointed out, and CoCalc is another thing if you want. CoCalc is actually using once again the Jupyter notebook kind of thing. CoCalc, if you go to, if you want to try CoCalc, that also you can do by creating an account using your Gmail account. You can straight away go there. You can start my Jupyter interface where you can run this SageMath commands as well as Python commands. So Spider installing in your system is one option. CoCalc can be used for Spider or Anaconda. Anaconda is a large and huge version. And if you are interested in doing it online, and another thing Ajit mentioned is Google. What does it, Ajit? Google? I have not used that so far.
This is Google Colab. That is online collaborative laboratory.
Yeah. Google Colab is also there. I have not actually used that thing, and I have been using CoCalc for online related things, and CoCalc for online related SageMath as well as this what you call Python related things. And this is another thing which you can this is co-laboratory. I think you can using your Google account, you can sign into this, and you can add code. Oh, this is not.
You have to start a new notebook and go to file.
I need to sign in. I think that's the thing. After signing only it will probably show.
Okay. Yeah, you have to sign with your Google. There is sign in.
I have already logged in.
Yeah, so now you can go to file. You can go to file, new note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this CoCalc, the disadvantage probably is that if you are using CoCalc, it's very slow. CoCalc, if you are using, because they are giving only for paid accounts only, they are actually giving a little bit of computing space, computing memory. Yeah. Otherwise, they will simply ditch you. So you will be waiting for hours. For if you are running a huge program, you may have to wait for hours. I think that's the experience.
Yeah, CoCalc that way is much easier, and it also has all the packages.
It's an IPython notebook. Yeah, it's an IPython notebook, and you can save it in your Google Drive. I think space is restricted only by your Google Drive space. So if you are creating a dedicated account for handling Python files, otherwise also Python files are text files. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make much difference to your storage space. So this is another way. So Google colab.research.google.com. That's another option using which you can run the Python programs. And Ajit has already shared one Google Sheet. Link of the Google Sheet is already there as the first one. I can probably
I've shared it again.
But Ajit, the thing is that suppose that they copy paste something, it may get editing for everybody. Everyone is not. I think it's.
Yeah, I think that will be a problem. But let us hope that not everybody will do that.
Otherwise, I will do one thing. Later, you may change that. Right now, I will share in another Google Sheet and I will copy paste back it to you. You just change
That's
it.
fine.
You just change it to one of the only selected people can edit it. I think that's better because sometimes what happens is that they may not remember that they are actually pasting. They may paste it also. So
right. That's correct.
let me create one Google Sheet. Okay, I'm creating one sheet. I'll share that. Share. Okay, I have created one sheet. I will just share now. So I have shared that link. Has that link appeared to everyone? Ajit, is it okay?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So you can see some typing also there, right?
Yes.
After that, I will copy paste everything to back to this. Okay, now as we have introduced that, yeah, as I told, CoCalc is one option. Google Colab is another option, and installing Spider or Anaconda in your system, local system it's another option. And another most important option which we were previously using, and that was the very first one available to everywhere, was Python Integrated Development Environment, Python IDLE. That IDLE more or less looks like the IDLE interface that looks like this. You can see this. So this is Python 3.8.10 running on my system. This was the initial, I think, integrated development environment available even before the Spider. Google Colab is more or less it's a recent thing, and CoCalc is also not that old compared to Python IDLE. Python IDLE was there even previously, but sometimes the difficult thing, as I told already, that you may have to install individual libraries separately. So Python IDLE will be providing only very basic packages available from Python. The other most useful libraries like NumPy, SciPy, or Matplotlib, none of these things are available by default in Python. Ideally, you may have to install it separately, but sometimes it's difficult for people if you are not really good in doing all these things, installing separate libraries and all these things. But if you have already installed this Python IDLE library, then Python IDLE package, then you can straight away use that. But The only thing is that while we go to numerical Python related thing or something like that, you may have to in addition, you may have to install those things. So these are some major options. Python ideally, the Spider I told already, Anaconda as a superset of the Spider. Google Colab is another thing. And the final thing is Cocal, which is a little bit slow compared to Colab. Or of course, the superfast thing definitely will be using it in your own system, either Spider or Anaconda or Python IDE. That will be the much fastest thing because your memory is entirely dedicated to your own purposes. Okay. So with these things, with this installation related part, I guess that you might be already having one of these editing software GUI with you. Even GUI is not necessary. You can straight away use a notepad kind of thing, you can type it and you can run it using the terminal. But I'm not going into that part because for some people that may be not confusing. Some people are not very much interested in using the terminal in some way. But most of the Linux people will be using terminal for most of their purposes. Okay, with that, I will be using a Spider, and you can use any of these editors mentioned. There is not much difference, except in the case that if I am clicking at one place for running this, you may have to click on some other place. That's the only thing. The command, syntax, output, they are going to be exactly the same. There cannot be much difference. Okay, with that, I'm starting my my Spider screen, and I'm straight away going into the typing and demonstrating the programs. Simultaneously, I will be copying and pasting the code into the Google Sheet, the link of which I have already shared. You can also try, and after a program, I will pause for a minute or so that you can also try and you can also see. And if there is any doubt at that time itself, you can clarify. You need not wait for the end of the session for clarifying, because programming, if you try to clarify at the end, problem is that you may have to come back to the same program once again back. So it's better to clarify it during this program itself, that why it's happening, and etc. etc. You can ask. Okay, Spider, I'm starting. I'll share Spider after that. Yeah. This is the Spider initial window that's appearing. I hope that the font size is somewhat comparatively large for you to read. I have increased it to, I think, 16 or 15, something like that. I think this should be more than enough for reading. And
yes,
yeah, it's okay.
This is yeah, it's quite all right.
Okay. So if somebody is having some font related problem, I think you can, if you are using a mobile device, you can zoom it on your mobile device. I guess that's better, because if I'm increasing the size of the font to be too large, then I may not be able to type the complete line on. You may not be able to see the complete line in one line itself. So I may have to again go to the left and right. So okay. So this is the Spider screen, and on the left side you can see that on the top left side top you can see somewhere here that untitled 0 is given here on the, and some typing spaces here. I can type whatever I like. But if I type whatever I like, the problem is that if it's not a Python command, it will not run, definitely. So on the right side, you can see that in1 is given there. On the right side, it is actually the Python shell. It's an interactive shell. So IPython shell, in fact. So whatever command I am typing and trying to run, it will be actually taken to the right side, and execution will take place on the right side. Okay. So in your Colab, it may not be on the right side. It will be below. Just like IPython, it is an IPython notebook, just like in Jupyter notebook, the output will be coming just below that. Okay. So this is automatically appearing, that the created date and all these things, all these kind of things are automatically appearing. If you are using Spider, you need to be a little bit careful, because if you start typing on somewhere here between these quotes, either you can delete it completely, doesn't matter. You can completely delete them. no problem at all. But otherwise, if you're typing something in between this three double quotes, pair of three double quotes, the problem is that that will be treated as a kind of informative piece of sentences or extended comments, whatever you want to call it. So this is the kind of comment, and this will not make any impact on the program code. So you should type only outside this. If you want to make a command that needs to be executed, you need to type it below that. Okay, even above that is also fine. If you are typing above that is also fine, but that does not make much sense because your author name, program information, all these things you are supposed to input somewhere here. You can keep on adding lines if you prefer, but start typing the program lines only after this triple of double quotes. Okay, not pair, triplet of double quotes. Okay. So Python programming, if you have already experienced some other programming language, if you have already gone through some C programming language or C++ programming language, the good thing, or sometimes people say that it's a bad thing about Python programming, is that it's a freely typed programming language. Freely typed in the sense that in C programming language, before starting the program, you need to write a few things. And towards the end of the program also, you need to write a few things, just like a LaTeX file. See, if you are a mathematics student, if you are a mathematics teacher, you know LaTeX file. Before beginning the LaTeX file content, you need to include some document class command, the begin document command, and towards the end, end document command has to be there. And in between, you need to type. If you are missing these three commands, the LaTeX file will not run. Just in the same way, the C program also requires some including of certain libraries for output, and after that, main has to be started, then main has to be ended, some return value has to be specified. All these kinds of things are there in C programming also. But Python is not like that. Python is a free programming language. It is yeah. Is there a question? No. Okay. Please, I think there is a hand raising option available in the Zoom platform. You may use that. If you have some question, you may please use that, and after that we can start so that I can break for it. So the good thing about Python programming language is that it is as close to natural language or mathematics at least, because in mathematics, how do you do some computation? You need to you usually use some formula for, especially for performing some computation. You usually use some formula. You need to define certain variables, and you need to put some values into that variable, and values of those variables put into that expression or formula that will finally evaluate into some number. Then finally, you need to write down the number as a result. That's what you usually do in the case of solving mathematics problems. Exactly like that. Suppose that we want to find the area of a rectangle. I'm straight away going into a program so that you will easily understand that what I exactly mean. Suppose that we want to find the area of a rectangle, and for that we know that the area of the rectangle can be found provided that you know the sides of the lengths of two sides in the sense that two different sides, because if you are giving the same in the case of rectangle, two sides are going to be the same and the other two opposite sides are going to be the same exactly. So we need the lengths of different sides if they are different. So suppose that the side A we are calling as the variable A. We want to store the length of side A into the variable A, and suppose that we put A equal to, remember that I have put some space here, but it is not actually necessary. If you want, you can put space here, make it a little bit more readable, legible. If you do not want space, leave it. You can even type it so closely. Packed. That will appear to be packed. Okay, I will copy paste this command after this. A equal to say 5, B equal to say 9. Oh, sorry. B equal to 9. Spacing is not very important after the first character. I will clarify that. You can put any number of spaces, it doesn't matter. And it is not literal, so usually we will not do that. Then area equal to, I'm typing A star B. Remember that in Python, multiplication is done using the symbol A star B. Star is a symbol used for multiplication. Now, finally, we need to write the output back. Print it. Okay, this is one full command. This is one full program. I am copying and pasting this to the Google Doc. Can you see that now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the entire code is appearing there, right? Under the title first program. I will probably, instead of this, I will give some hashes so that otherwise, if you are copying pasting that equal sign also, that will be a trouble. I will be giving the name first.py, and name is not very important. We can do. Oh, this can create some trouble. Okay, this codes may not exactly come out as we want in the Google document, because code it's converting to some other kind of symbol. Okay. So you can copy paste this, run this. It's asking for saving. I'm giving the name first.py. After that, on the right side, you may see that on the right side, this is appearing as 45. 9, 5, 45. Are you getting it? If somebody has tried, they may just raise their hand if one of them at least is getting the output using this code.
Yeah, in case you have any problem, any question, you can click on the reactions. In that reactions, you will see there are this non-verbal communication, raise hand, click yes, no. Okay, so we will use this for interactivity.
Reactions is there in more, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think
reactions. The icon reactions is there in. If you don't see that, there is a more button somewhere here and there. That depends, because I am sharing the screen. That's why probably it's appearing under the more.
Correct.
Otherwise, it may appear directly also. You look for a more button. If the reactions is not appearing straight away, then under that you can find reactions. If you click on reactions, you will see several things. Several reactions can be there. So in case if you want to raise your hand, you can do that. And if you have done that, you may either put a tick mark or thumbs up symbol. You can probably give anything. It's up to you. So you have done that. If you want to stop, then only please raise hand. If you want to pause, then only please raise hand. Otherwise, not. I think by standard you can use done. Okay. If you have completed that. If at least one of you have completed that. Okay. If I need to post, then please let me know, because otherwise I will be going to the next program or explaining more components of this program. Okay. I guess that you have copy pasted, you have run that. And this is a very simple program. There is not much depth in this program, of course. Okay. Now, what I want to tell is you cannot give space in the beginning of the statement just like that. That's not allowed. For example, suppose that I put a space here before A. Before A, suppose that I'm giving a space. You can see that if you are using Spider, on the left side, you can see some code analysis. Okay, that's one good thing with Spider I like, because in the live mode itself, we can see that there is something called code analysis, in which you can see some comments like you are doing something wrong, there can be something wrong. Not all the times it's going to be correct. It can be wrong also, because we are planning to do something and we will be completing the command later. So you don't worry about that until you complete that part of the program. But here, the comment that I'm seeing is code analysis unexpected intent. Unexpected intent simply means that you are not supposed to put space. Indentation. Indentation means beginning of the line. The space you are putting, you call it as indentation. Indentation you cannot put before in the beginning of a line just like that. There are certain spaces, there are some places where You need to put indentation there only it's expected. Okay, for usual regular statements, direct statements, this indentation is not at all allowed. So this will create an error. The program will not otherwise run. Program is not going to run. I'm sure running. So you can see that on the right side, you are seeing just at a equal to 5, you have some problem. At a equal to 5, you are seeing that indentation error and unexpected. Okay, this is the message that I want to clarify to you. Indentation error, unexpected indent is appearing on the right side. So you need to delete that. Close to the margin. Now, how do you know that if you are leaving some space? That's also easy. If you are using a spider, then below that you can see some column. On the rightmost side, bottom, you may see line number and column number. Okay. If you are typing in the first column, it will say that column number 1. So you have to always start typing at column number 1 itself. Okay. Places where this has to be changed, I will explain. Okay, this is the first program, but this first program, as we can see, that this is not actually the best program because area here we can give space. Here we can give space. Doesn't matter. This is not very clear. They're not very clear in the sense that we are simply giving area as a number. I'll run that once again. We are giving area as one number, and there is no informative message. The program has to be a little bit more now, what do you call it? Friendly in the sense that user friendly. Whenever we are writing a program, even if we are only going to use that program for our own purpose, it's better to show some information in the output. Otherwise, the problem is that later also we may not be able to understand that why exactly we wrote this program. So one good practice is that in the command line you may put something. Something like this. Yes. No, okay. So in the command line itself, you may put the program name, for example, first.py. I'm giving the name first.py. And after that, I'm giving one more comment. A simple program to find, okay, program spelling is not exactly this. To find the area of a rectangle. Such commands are quite useful while writing any program, not only in Python program, any program you are writing, it's always better to give comments like this, comments in such a way that you will be able to, because you will be visiting this program after several weeks or several months. You may not be able to identify that why exactly you did certain things. I think it's better to just put it like that. So here we have 3 variables. What are the variables? A is one variable, B is another variable, area is another variable. And someone is not muted. I request all of you to kindly mute. I think whenever to speak, then only raise the hand and after that start speaking. I think that's better. Otherwise, please keep muted. So print it's not actually a variable name. It's actually a command or function name, to be safe enough, we can call it like that. It's a function name or whatever it is. Print area. After that, bracket is there. We are starting. Whatever has to be printed, it has to be given inside the print bracket. But if you are giving a variable name, the variable name will not be printed, but the variable value will be printed. Okay, that's what it happens. Now, we may say that area is, to make it a little bit more friendly. See that I have enclosed this within double quotes. Single quote is also fine, but double quote is always preferred. Area is. So I'm changing the program slightly. Second version of this program. So slightly modified. The only thing is that I have added a few comments. In the Google document, I have updated that. Print area is. I'm copying this to the Google document so that you can copy paste easily without spending time for typing. Okay, I will modify the same program once again to make it a little bit more user-friendly instead of again going into a new file or modifying it completely. So it is better to show the user even if it's we ourselves, show the user that area of a rectangle with sides 5 and 9 is, I think, slightly better, right? The program it looks a little bit more, what do you call it, professional in some sense. Okay, it's slightly modified. Area of rectangle with sides. So next I want the sides, instead of A, I want number 5. But later I may change the number to some 7. But in that case, then I cannot write 5 here, but instead I will write A. See that? I have enclosed this much in quotes because this much will be printed as it is. This I have not enclosed in quotes. Therefore, the value of A will be printed. The comma means that these are the arguments of the print function. This is just like in mathematics, we usually type yeah, mathematics. See this comma. In the case of mathematics, what I was saying is function. Whenever we are writing, we will write f of x comma y comma z. Just like that. This is also an imitation of the mathematical function. Therefore, we are writing print of area of rectangle with sides. That's in quotes, comma a comma area. But the interpretation is that if you are enclosing something in quotes, usually that will be printed as it is. If you are not enclosing something in quotes, that will be treated as a variable name, and the value of that is expected there. Value of that will be printed there. And if you are okay, there are some extra formatting options available that I will paste as the next line. Area sides A, then and B is A. Okay, this is a bit more user friendly kind of thing.
Please mute yourself in case you're not asking any question. Thank you very much. Vishnu, please go ahead.
Yeah. So if I'm running this, what will happen? Okay, I will copy paste this. Sorry, I forgot to copy. I'm copying and pasting it as a next line in Google Doc, so that we don't have to copy paste again and again the complete thing, entire thing. So next line I have added area of rectangle with sides. Okay, I'm running. So area is 45 is the line. Area of rectangle with sides 5 and 9 is 45. Looks much more neat. Okay, this is much more neat. But here the issue is that in between we are breaking. In between we are breaking quotes and quote is quote, all these things. One more interesting thing you may want to, if you observe carefully, is that there are certain extra things that's appearing in this output. Can somebody point out that what are the extra things that's appearing here? Is there anything extra other than what we have actually typed? Look at this area of rectangle with sides A and B. Here, area of rectangle with sides. After sides, have we given any space here? Is there any space here? No, there is no space. No space, right? After sides, there is no space given here. After or before and there is no space given here. After or before is there is no space given here, but space is appearing everywhere. Right? See. So this is one important thing that we have to understand, that whenever we are putting something inside the print, when we are separating them with comma, when separating arguments with comma, by default that comma will be converted into space. Okay. By default, that comma will be that arguments will be printed, not comma will be converted to space, not exactly the correct thing. The arguments will be separated by one space exactly. Okay, and if you want to change the default behavior, there is actually an option. If you want to change it, change the default behavior by say some colon or comma or something like that, then you can specify here. Separated equal to, say, suppose that I want to separate it using colon, but not necessarily this time at least. So I'm running. See that sides, after that a colon, after that a colon, after that a colon, after that a colon, after that a colon. Now, if I want to copying and pasting to Google Doc, Yeah, done. Now, if I want to, if I do not want any space at all, that is sometimes possible. Or if you want just a comma. If you do not want, if you want a comma, then instead of colon, you put the comma there. If you do not want anything, just put two double quotes without any space in between. So remember that the space inside this quote, this sentences will not be deleted because that is already there. That's intended. That's given by us. But the extra space put by Python itself, that will get deleted. Okay, separator is the command that we are using. Separate. Fine. I think that is, and one more thing I wanted to introduce here itself. I'm sorry that I'm keeping on increasing the formatting in the same program itself. That is basically because you will understand that if I am typing the same command and with extra options, you will be able to easily understand that. That's why. Otherwise, for writing one single area program, you don't have to type all this definitely. Okay, so whatever option is convenient to you, whatever print option is convenient to you, you can straight away use. After this, I will not be discussing this print formatting related things later. Later, we will become just using whatever we are saying in this particular program. So yeah, another thing we can use is we can write a complete sentence exactly here. Area of the rectangle with sides. What is the side? I want the value 5 there. Okay, I will put an empty bracket as an empty set kind of thing. Empty bracket. And again empty bracket B is again empty bracket area. So now what next? So 3 empty brackets. Quotes also closed. Separate is not required. Now dot format. That's an extra parameter available with this print format A, B, area. Then remember that format itself is having closing and opening bracket, opening and closing bracket. Print is having already another thing. So this is a change that I have made. Copy paste. Done to Google Doc. So this is the command. This is a new thing that we introduced. And this is one of the most useful thing that we will be using most of the times. Okay, this is one of the most useful things that we will be using, this format command, because format command will make our output neat.
Vishnu, I think Nimesh has raised hand.
Yeah, please.
So one doubt, after the bracket and between the quotation, there is a full stop.
That I gave because I wanted a full stop.
And what about the full stop before format?
See, just 1 second. The 45 dot is appearing here, right? 45 dot. You can see the output now.
Okay, yeah.
You can see the output now, and here the dot is appearing. So whatever is typing inside the quotes, other than this curly braces, there are certain extra things also. This curly braces, other than that, is space dot. All these things will be printed exactly as it is.
And
okay.
So the dot before format.
That's required. That is required. And that's required basically because we are formatting this string. You will see this dot concept later also. This dot concept is quite common in Python. For many of these things, we use dot. Dot is used for doing certain extra things on whatever is coming before that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And yeah, another thing, Ajit has mentioned here that even instead of this, you can simply type A, B, and area. Python is quite flexible. You can do several things. A, B, and area. That's also, and in that case, this format itself is not necessary. But formatting we are basically using because the thing is that it will allow you a lot of flexibility. You need not type any of these things here. You can, but if you have too many variables and if you are not very good in remembering the order of the variables, then it is better to put it like this: A, B is area. Oh, but that is not available.
No, Vishnu, you will need F in the beginning.
Single quote, right?
Yeah, single quote, no. Single quote, double quote is fine, but you need F in the beginning.
Formatting character is required. Then yeah. I think it's the other things itself is better.
That is the latest, I think, simplification in print command.
Oh, okay. Format. You need to give the format. You are going to format. You need to inform, right?
Yeah. So yes. F in the beginning before
yes.
Single quote.
Yes. Yes. I modify.
Yes. Single quote, double quote, both will work.
or instead of taking the format, this is a short form in some way.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Right.
good.
So this is the latest one, I think.
Yeah, Python keeps on evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have copy pasted that also. So these are, remember that there is an F before the quotes. Okay. You notice that, please notice that F is not inside the quotes. Print, opening bracket, F, then quote started, area of rectangle with sides. So this simply instructs that some formatting needs to be done for whatever is enclosed inside this, what do you call it, curly braces, right? Okay, these two formats are formatting is possible, and we will be using one of these. And we'll be using the things we will, the first line also we will be using, that area is comma. Sometimes that's very easy because there is only one variable to output, one variable to show. You need not have to go to this format or anything. Okay, so this is the very first program that we have tried. But in this program, we introduced almost all kinds of printing things. Now, another important thing you might have probably noticed is that print actually prints each and every line on a separate line, new line. Okay, it is not continuous printing. Every time when one print is executed, the printing will in the next line, next print command will be going to the next line. Okay, print by default, it will take one line for one printing. Of course, we can suppress that, but that is not actually necessary most of the times. And if it's required, I will introduce that concept also. Okay, if you do not want, see, that is because print is ending the line with a new line. Print command ends the line with by default a new line character, enter key. Enter key can be suppressed. Okay, I will tell even that enter key can be suppressed and print. I will introduce that also because A, so A will be printed. Now print B, now B will be printed. Print area. Now area will be printed, but all these things will happen simultaneously in the same, not in the same line, but in different lines. But to avoid that, you may give an end specification here. Suppose that you give comma here, comma and a space or comma, just comma. So suppose that, okay, I'm running that. So 5 and 9, because A is ended not with a new line, so a comma, A is 5, B is 9. So 5, 9. But here there is no n specified. So by default, it's a new line. So next thing went to the next line. Okay. I think that's mostly about the print command. I have copy pasted this to Google Doc. You may try that. Okay. Okay, very good. That somebody is trying with this, and yeah, the messages are also appearing saying that they have succeeded. Very good. Fine. Now it is a time for moving to something more advanced. Here, this is a very simple program in which we introduce variables. We try to solve a very simple problem. Now, the Python is not just for making fun of these things by using the several small programs. Not only small programs, you can write larger programs also. You can try mathematical functions also. We will see that how to play with some mathematical functions next. Let me see what next I should do. Okay, I will go into conditions. Sajid, I think I can go to conditions now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I am opening a new file. You also, if you are using Colab or Colab, I think you need to go into next.
No, Colab in that everything they can do it in same. It's like a Jupyter notebook. So.
The same sheet, but there will be different cell, right?
No. Yeah, different cells they can.
That's what I'm saying, in the different cells, so that those things will be separately listed. So it will be easy to identify. So if you are using Colab, you go to next cell. Next cell in the sense that the below input box. You will be typing in one input box now. If you just go to the next input box, and whatever Python program we are listing as a single program, you include all the codes into one cell. That's better. Okay, it's of course possible to split into different cells, But if it's a one program, I think it's better to keep it in the same input cell itself. It'll become more compact and easy to identify that what exactly you have done. I'm opening a new file. And this program conditions. So conditional in the sense that the use of programming language essentially is that once you know that what exactly you need to do, okay, that's very important. Once you know that what exactly you need to do, definitely that the programming language itself or computer itself will not actually tell you what exactly is required, what exactly is the code to write. It's up to you. You need to devise a logic. You need to feed the logic into the computer, and if the logic that you have fed it in such a way that computer is capable of, or the programming language is capable of interpreting that properly, then it will run, it will execute, it will show you the result. Now here. Now we are going to see a situation in which we need to make certain decisions. Decision means what? Decision in the sense that suppose that you are entering into a program in which based on the value of a variable you need to tell this or you need to tell that, or you may be required to tell something else. Okay, tell this or tell that or tell something else. For in such a case, you need to actually tell. You need to actually branch the program into different set of instructions. Branching the program means that you need to tell that if this is happening, then print this. If this is happening, then print something else. If this is happening, then print some other thing. Okay, we will start with a simple program, very simple program. Program for checking and whether a number is even number or not. Okay, program for checking if a number is an even number or not. Okay, so we will start with a simple 3-line program now. 4-line program actually. N is equal to some number I am giving. After that, I will show you how to receive input from the user directly. Okay, so N is equal to 8. Now we need to check if it's even or not. How do we check if it's an even number or not? So by division algorithm, if you are familiar with division algorithm, you must be actually familiar with division algorithm. Then it says that you can write whatever number B is given to you. If you want to divide it with A, then you will be able to write B is equal to AQ plus R. We are using basically that. B is equal to AQ plus R. Or when dividing B with A, you will be getting remainder R. So the remainder we have to check. If it's an even number, then remainder is going to be equal to 0. So then the operator called remainder operator is required in this case. If n percentage 2. N percentage 2 in Python language means that remainder obtained after dividing n with 2 equal to 0. That means n percentage 2 equal to 0 means that you divide n with 2 if you are getting the remainder equal to. Remember that here this is not single equal to. Okay, this is not single equal to. Because the problem with single equal to is that single equal to is supposed to assign value from the right to left. N equal to 8, for example, n equal to 8, there we have assigned the value 8 to this variable n, and we are using the value of n in the later stage. But n percentage 2 equal to 0 means that we are checking whether left and right are equal or not. Left and right values are the same or not. Okay, because the problem is that we will understand that equal to means that in two situations they mean different things, but computer cannot understand that. Therefore, to avoid ambiguity, programming languages uses double equal to for checking equality, single equal to for assignment. So single equal to is called assignment operator, double equal to is called a equality checking operator. Okay, if n percentage 2 is equal to 0, now you can see that when I'm pressing the enter key, I don't know what's happening in your Colab thing. It must be more or less the same thing. So n percentage 2 equal to 0. The typing is not on the left margin. It has come to this particular. See, if I check the column here, it's in column 5. So 4 columns are left. Okay, automatically 4 columns are left. That means that typing starts after 4 spaces. So 4 spaces is for indentation. Then only it will be a part of the if block. If block means when this if condition is true, this will be executed. Whatever is coming in the if block will be executed. So if block is defined by what? If block is at a distance of 4 spaces from the margin of if. 4 spaces from the margin of if. Okay, you please notice that if block is a distance of 4 spaces from the margin of F. Okay. If n% 2 equal to 0, what should be printed? Print. What should be printed? N. Okay. Is an even number. Enter. So we can use like this. That in the beginning we can put n, then a comma. This is the most easiest and this is the simplest way of writing a print statement. So one program is complete and copy paste. Okay. I will give the name even check. So I have updated the Google document. Space is also there appearing. You should not delete the space. I think when you are copying and pasting, the space should appear exactly like that. Okay. So if I'm running, okay, I have to say even check. That. So if I run it on the right side, it shows 87. Naturally, correct. So the operator that we have introduced here is n%. Right? Now the thing is that if n is something else, suppose that we are giving n is equal to 7 or 87, whatever it is. If I run it, there is no output. There is no output at all. That's basically because it's basically because 87 is an even integer, and we have only specified one condition. If n is equal to 0, n% 2, n is an even number, print it. If n is not an even number, we haven't said anything, right? We haven't said anything. So we need to tell even that. We need to tell even that. If n is not an even number, then what should we do? So in such a situation, if there is another thing to print up, another thing to show, then we need an extra statement. Now we are coming out of the if block. We don't want to be inside the if block because if block printing is that task is over. Come to the left margin once again. Now we will go to else. We know that if it's not an even number, then it has to be. If it is not an even number, then it has to be an odd number. There is no other way. Else, the colon is very important. The colon is very important. Here also there is a colon. Here also there is a colon. Then, and again notice that after else also 4 spaces automatically left and printing is now in the 5th column. Else, what will happen else? Else, print. Exactly the same thing, but the only difference is that is an what? Google Docs is updated. Now, 87 is an odd number. Okay, great. Now, another thing is that suppose that we don't want to edit the program each and every time. Suppose that we want we will be asking the user, or we want to feed only the number outside the program. In that way, we can ask for user input. Okay, instead of typing it here, we can type the value on the right side that the program runs and waits for an input for n, gets that n and processes it. That's also quite possible. So in such a case, you need to slightly modify this. I'm modifying that. I'm modifying the first line, not in same program. I think that's better because n giving value to n is it's already familiar. You are already familiar with that. So n equal to, we need an input, integer input, because even odd concept is applicable only for integers. And a message also to the user, enter and integer. Enter an integer, and maybe you can give a colon to separate, to just for what do you call it, some beautification purpose, I should say. So what happens if I modify this like slightly like this? I modify the program even here, removing the first line, updated the Google Doc. Enter an integer. So on the right side, you can see that exactly the same message is appearing as it is. Enter an integer. There is a colon. Exactly same thing is appearing. So the structure of this command is input. Input means that wait for an input. Okay, input means that wait for an input. And what is this inside the code? Inside the code, you are specifying a message. So you are showing a message to be shown to the user. And what is this int? So the input that you are receiving, convert that into, because usually what happens is that whatever you are typing will be received as a string by the Python programming interface. I will, okay, what is the difference between 87 and 87, for example? Is there any difference between 87 as a string and, okay, this is what I'm saying. Suppose I write n is equal to 8. Suppose I write n is equal to 8. Is there a difference between these things, these two things? Can somebody answer? So that just to identify the difference between the quoted thing and unquoted things. Any guess?
The quoted thing will be treated as a character.
So what? What's the problem with that?
So if we do not use it as a mathematical, because if we take A plus B, suppose it will not.
Very good. Exactly the same thing. See, there are certain situations in which this particular principle becomes applicable. For example, suppose that you are writing n is equal to 9400 24365, something like that. Okay, you can easily identify what is this. This is the phone number, right? Indian phone number. Okay, but the problem is that the phone number is not supposed to be added or subtracted. It's not an integer. It's not a number in that sense. Just a string. I will tell you another interesting thing I heard about a mathematics professor. I just might have already heard it probably, or you also might have probably heard. The thing is that somebody dialed the mathematics professor and told him one phone number. 94002436, and he didn't hear properly the last digit 5. Okay, mathematics professor didn't hear that the last digit 5. So the person on the other side, when he asked for the last digit, the person on the other side that just add 5 to it. Okay, add 5 to it. What he must have done? What do you expect? So the professor, what he did is that 94002436 plus 5 he added. So it became 41. Okay. So, but the addition, what he meant is this is string addition. String addition is valid in Python also. If you have a phone number and if somebody is adding a 5 to it, it's string addition. That's possible in Python. But string addition in mathematics, this is not a mathematical object. 9400243665 is not a mathematical object. Not a mathematical object. We do not want to consider it as a mathematical object. It is just a sequence of letters. It's just a sequence of digits, of course, but it is not assumed or supposed to have any of the properties of a number. Okay. You might have probably noticed it if you have already used Excel. Excel, if you write a large number, suppose that Excel you are writing a large number, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1 10 1 2 3 4 3 4. If you are writing a large number, it's I think 16 digits or more. If you are writing, Excel will automatically convert it into exponential notation. Have you observed it at some place? I think you might have observed in Microsoft Excel. If you write some number, it will be automatically taken into scientific notation. To avoid that, people usually put such large numbers in quotes to treat it as a string. Okay, there is a huge difference between what it looks and what it means. I wanted to just clarify that.
Especially it creates problem when you have to put your account number, right?
Exactly. We had faced that. Account number we had several times faced because especially when you have zeros in the beginning. Usually for filling these many digits, they prefix with some zeros. So if you are prefixing zero with the account number and putting it in an Excel sheet, the problem is that zeros will be completely taken out. It will show only the remaining digits. Okay, so string, number represented as a string and number represented as exactly number, there is a huge difference. I will give you one more example. So I will show it here itself probably. Okay, otherwise I will start a new program. I think that's better because this is complete. Okay, this part is complete, and I guess that all of you must have already tried this. And I will show you an example where the string number actually gives some difference. One small program. Starting a new program. Probably I will tell string number difference, not pi. That's name I'm going to give. N is equal to, we will use two names. N is equal to, just like I told already, 9400 20 or 000 24 365. This was actually the BSNL customer care number long back. Now it's no longer existing like this. Or just for 36, I'm dropping the last. M equal to no, exactly the same. Okay, now print. Oh, one is a string and other is a string and other is a number. Okay, print. Now I am printing n plus 1 plus 5, sorry, 365. I'm printing n plus 5. What is the name I gave? Okay. Suppose I print n plus 5, and suppose now I print m, but I need to remember that I have taken it as a string, therefore I need to add a string, not a number. Right. Add means again adding a string. So I am copying pasting to Google Docs. It went to the next page. You please in Google Docs, please go to the next page. You will see the entire thing I typed. Now try run and see what happens. See what happens. Oh, it is probably remaining in the previous input. Okay. Okay. You may see the output here. I will show some message also. Adding 5 to the number. I have modified it slightly, so updating the Google Docs once again. Okay. Or string number or number string, whatever it is. See, this is an important thing that we should remember. And you may be now wondering that if we add without quotes 5 to this, what will happen? You will simply see an error message. So the plus is, even though I told in the beginning that the symbol equal to cannot be used for two purposes. Okay, I am actually negating my own statement here, not exactly negating. There is a small difference is there. The plus is used for two purposes. Plus is used for two purposes. Probably more than that. Plus is here used for, it's used as an arithmetic operator, and plus in the second sentence it's used actually as a concatenation. Concatenation means that glue together operator. So m plus 5, but for gluing together, the problem is that both these arguments must be, both are of string type. Then only we can add. Okay. So plus operator is the arithmetic operator as well as the gluing or concatenation operator. But in such a situation, Python can actually identify that what are the type of arguments appearing on the left and right. But when you are putting n equal to 5 or n double equal to 5, Python may not be able to understand that what you exactly mean. Do you mean to equate them or do you mean to compare them? There it cannot make out, but here it can make out because type of arguments from the type of argument, string or the otherwise non-string, it will easily identify that what exactly you mean. Okay, so here Python is reasonable in expecting it to be a string. So m plus string, that will work. Someone was saying that how to clear the screen and control it. I just applied the control to clear the screen. If you are asking about my clearing screen, I have already cleared. And if you want to try it on your own thing, and in Colab and all these things, there is no screen clearing because you keep on typing it downwards. Only in Spider or ideally, the screen clearing is happening. So that screen clearing simply means that, okay, the content is there, but it's hidden now. That's it. You can check it in the history. Okay. That's it. Okay. So that's about that's all about. We were discussing about conditional, and after that we were discussing about what do you call it? Concatenation. These two sort of things. Now we will be going to if and else we have introduced. Now we should probably go to if else also, else if also. So for introducing else if, so there is an extra statement. That's an extra statement. So if and else means that if some condition is true, then do this. Else do something else. Else do some other thing. That means either this is happening or this is happening. But there are situations where either this is happening or this is happening or this is happening or this is happening. Multiple branching is quite possible. Okay, multiple branching is also possible. So in such a situation, if and else alone cannot work. So in such a situation, we require an else if or elif condition. Else if or elif condition. So we are going to an else if or elif. Else if is not there in Python, it's elif. We will go to elif condition. New file. So we will probably try to introduce this concept using the leap year program. Leap. Leap year, all of us know. What is the logic of the leap year? How do we check if a given year is a leap year or not? So to check if a given year is a leap year or not, there are two conditions we need to probably verify. First is if the year is a 400 multiple year or not. Okay, not exactly that. If it's a 100 multiple, it has to be 400 multiple. If it is a 100 multiple, for it to become a leap year, it has to be 400 multiple. If it is not a 100 multiple, it just needs to be a 4 multiple. Okay, that's the condition for leap year. So what is it? If it's a 100 multiple, if the given year is a 100 multiple, it has to be a 400 multiple also. 100 alone is not sufficient if it's a multiple of 100. If it's not a 100 multiple, it doesn't matter. It has to be a 4 multiple. So according to that, is 2020 a leap year? Can somebody tell in chat box alone? Is more than enough. 2020, is it a leap year? Is it a 4 multiple? That's the only thing I'm asking. Yeah, that's it. 1900. 1900. Is no, because it's a 100 multiple, but it's not a 400 multiple. Okay, so 400 multiples are either it's the 0th year or the 400th year, 800, 1200, 1600, and 2000. Okay, these are the only 400 multiple years so far. Okay, but 4 multiples are there. So the logic is like that. Okay, so we will try to code that logic here. Okay, n equal to maybe we can ask for int input also. Int input, enter a colon also. Colon is not actually necessary, but it is only for showing that colon to the user so that he will type just after the colon. Otherwise, he will be typing close to this R letter. What next? If. So we need to check two things. Is it a multiple 400? Is it after if you can put a bracket, or you may not put a bracket, but it is always, I usually prefer to put a bracket, because in most of the programming languages, this bracket is necessary. Therefore, I think, I don't know, it's a matter of taste probably. I usually prefer to put bracket after if. It's not completely necessary. You can straight away type also, but I usually do that. If, okay, maybe instead of this, we can write here itself. Here, percentage, what is the first step? 100 equal to, double equal to 0. Oh, straight away 400 itself is enough. No need to check 400. 400 equal to 0, then it's a leap year. Okay, fine. Print. Here, sorry, here we need to type. Here the value we need is say leap year. So updating the Google document, that up to here. If here is 0, for here 400, oh sorry, there is a dot appearing outside this, that's not allowed, inside. Outside, if some dot, if dot is appearing after the code, format has to be there. Saving, leapyear.py, save. Now, else, if, or elif, not else if, elif. Now, what is the next thing that we have to check? We should not check simply if it's a multiple of 4 or not, because multiple of 4 means that it can be a multiple of 100 also. Okay, so you need to remove multiples of 100. If it's not a multiple of 100, and if it's a multiple of 4, then it's a leap year. If it's not a multiple of 100, and if it's a multiple of 4, then it's a leap year. So the first check is if it's not a multiple of 100. Elif, maybe we can put some space here, percentage 100 not equal to 0. So it's not a multiple of 100. And can be written in two ways. One is this A and D, other is this double and. Both are allowed. But this makes much more sensible and readable. And here percentage 4 equal to 0. So two conditions are there. So mixing conditions can be done using and or. Both in small letter, remember. Capital letter, I don't really think it will work. One more thing I forgot to actually tell you, that Python is a case sensitive thing. Therefore, if you are using input with I and PUT small letter, or if you are using input with capital I, then N, PUT, everything in small letter, that will not work. Everything in small letter only. Whatever command is defined by Python as a lowercase combination of letters, you must type it exactly like that. But the variable names and all these things you are creating in your own, so you can type in whatever you want. But still, if you are typing YEAR small letter here, and if you are typing capital YEAR here, that will create some trouble. That will not work. Okay, again, case sensitive. Now, what's next? Print. Here is a leap year. We can, of course, club these two, and we can club these two in such a way that this condition or this condition, that's also possible. This if and elif can be actually clubbed together, but I am showing it basically because we want to go through a situation where this elif is useful. Okay, these two commands can actually be clubbed. Okay, we can even do that, but that will not serve our purpose. Our purpose is actually to introduce this elif, if, elif, and else. What is next after this? Remember that every time we are elif again moving some little bit of space. I'm copy pasting. That copy pasted to Google Docs. You may try. And else. If these things are not happening, there is only one possibility, that it's not a 400 multiple. And this condition is also not satisfied, not 100 multiple, but still not 4 multiple. In that case, there can be only one possibility, that is not a leap year. That's true. Not. That's a final. Copy paste to Google Docs, please see and try. Okay, I'm going to try. Enter a year. 2000 is a leap year. Fine. Again, running. Running can be achieved by clicking on this play button. I didn't tell that. Or pressing F5. F5 will work in Python ideally. But in Google Colab or what is that? Google Colab, or that Cocal, whatever it is, you need to click on the run button or press, I think, Control Enter will work. Pressing Control and Enter should work.
Shift Enter or Control Enter?
Shift Enter or Control. Control Enter, I think some extra thing is, yeah, I think Shift Enter is the correct thing.
Shift Enter will create the next empty cell, and Control Enter will just run that particular cell.
Ah, right. Okay, enter a year, 2020 is a leap year. Okay, enter a year 1900 itself, we'll check. Not a leap year. Once again, 2022, not a leap year. Seems to be working without much problem. Somebody has said enter shift. Enter shift is going to create some trouble, because when you press enter, automatically it will go to the next slide. Shift enter, I think that's better. Enter shift and shift enter. That's not I think exactly communicating.
I think possibly he meant shift enter, but in hurry it was.
Yes. The problem is that if you press the enter key, it will automatically execute it. It will be quickly executed, but shift by default doesn't have any such function. Shift in itself will not create any trouble. So shift is usually in almost all the commands. I think certain keys are a little bit harmless, like control, shift. These keys initially pressing is better. Great, thank you. Dot is outside the quotes there. I'm not seeing that. Dot is inside the quotes only. There is no quote outside the dot in whatever I am seeing.
So it may be due to some small letter has become capital letter in Google Sheet. That may be the error. That is why it may be error in Colab.
Okay, let me check.
So make sure.
Yeah, such things will usually happen.
Yeah.
But in this one, enter a year, input year, print year is not a leap year, relief. Colon. Have you copy pasted that completely? I'm not seeing any gap.
It could be indentation problem, Vishnu.
That's quite possible. When you're copy pasting,
it could be indentation error.
See, in such a case, what you should do? See, I will tell you that suppose that there is an indentation problem, you just take everything to the margin. I think that's the only way you can start. We cannot keep on counting; it's difficult. After that, in Colab, if you press the tab key, I think it will create some trouble, because tab is supposed to be something else. 4 space, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just check the indentation with each and every line. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it to the margin. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise, you let me know what exactly there is.
In case there is major difficulty, I mean, we can allow them to share and then can figure it out.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely.
I think it has gone to next line or what?
Which has this is not okay. Is a leap year? Year percentage 0 is not a leap year. Else, I hope leap year year. Remember that all the spacing, all the lines, all these things must be coming. Line number 100. Where is line number 100? Okay.
No, he is saying that after 100 there is a exclamation equal to. That is correct, because exclamation equal to means not equal to.
Yeah, this, if you are talking about the exclamation mark, this is not a full. Oh, maybe you are thinking that this is a dot. No, sorry, this is not a dot. This is not a dot. This is exclamation mark. This is used for not equal to 0. Okay, we cannot write equal to and then cut. There is no such symbol available in programming language. In keyboard, it's not available. Double equal is also correct. Double equal is also correct because we want to check whether they are equal or not. This is correct. There is no problem. If you're talking about that, there is no problem. Year is a leap year dot. That is because you have, I think you have put some extra dot there. I have not put. Somebody is saying that year is a leap year colon dot. That dot in my case, it's inside the quotes. Okay, I think in the Google Docs also it's like that. I don't know whether I have done any correct. I have not done any corrections there. Okay, I will. Are you using exactly the same Google document?
No, Vishnu, in the Google Doc also it is appearing dot after full stop.
Dot after?
Dot after colon in the after first if. So maybe you can just copy paste again. Right? Copy the.
Oh, sorry. I think I must have pressed something there. In my Python code, it's correct. Okay, I'll copy paste. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. That's right.
The best thing is to copy these codes after you run.
Okay. Now it's correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, after you run this, then copy, then paste it. So no syntax error.
Right. Now it's okay. You just check that, please. Okay, great. So I hope that the concept of if, else, if, all these things are quite clear. Now we will use the same program. Suppose that we want to list out all the leap years from 2000 to or 1900 to 2020 or 22. Suppose that we want to list out all the leap years. Then what do you do? Then in such a case, the problem is that you need to keep on feeding the years one by one. Okay, that's really difficult. Keep on feeding the years one by one is really difficult. We cannot do that. So instead of that, we will use something known as a loop. Okay, loop is used in programming basically for executing certain things, set of commands based on certain conditions many times. Same code, we can use it many times. Okay, we will use exactly the same program, but the only thing is that we will include a for loop also for constructing, for making the execution run many times. Okay, I will save this as. You don't have to save this as. I will completely copy paste the document. I am going to save this as to save some typing. Leap year for loop. I'll change the name. You don't have to change the name. You just keep whatever you have typed already. Let it be there. So the extra commands I'm going to introduce, you please notice those things. 4. Suppose that now enter a year is also not necessary now. Begin year or beginning year, that's what I meant. Suppose that I want 1900 onwards, all leap years up to now. End year. Up to here, up to 2022, I want to check which years are leap, which years are not leap. Okay. So 4. Year. I'm giving a variable name or year or y, whatever. Usually in for loops, usually people prefer to use single letter things for constructing for loops, but it's not necessary. Any variable name. Yeah. Another thing about variable name, I want to actually, I would have told you actually that when you are creating variable names, the important thing to remember is that variable names can consist of alphabets, uppercase or lowercase. Both are different. That you should remember. So year, Y-E-A-R in small letter, or Y capital and everything small, or everything capital, these three are different. So you have to be careful. So a variable name can be created using any number of letters, any number of digits, any number of underscore. But the thing is that variable name should not start with a digit. Okay, it's preferable that you should not start it again with an underscore also. Underscore is usually used to separate parts of the variable name so that it will make the variable name read a little bit better. Okay, so it's always better to start variable name. Not better to, you have to start with a variable name with alphabet, or I think underscore is permitted, but underscore you should better use it in between only. Digits can be used only after the first letter. No spaces allowed. No other characters are allowed. Only 3 types of characters. Need to be really careful. And one more thing, suppose that if you are using some already existing variable name or function name in Python, unfortunate thing is that Python most of the time will not tell you that what exactly there is, or it will give you a message in such a way that you will not be able to distinguish, identify that what exactly there is. For example, the word new. I think new is the keyword in Python. Not new is not a keyword. Some certain things are there which are keywords in Python. Already built in. New is, I think, I had a problem with C program, C++ or C program. So such keywords, if you are using for your own purposes, there can be some problem. Okay, in such situations, you need to try to change the variable name to something else. That's the only way to solve that issue. Yeah, this is not complete. For year in, we wanted the range beginning year to end year. We wanted to check all the years from beginning year to ending year. There is something that you need to understand here. I will tell you that after this. I'm just taking this range like this. So range is a keyword, a special word in Python that is used for creating a range of integers from to or start end. Okay, with a gap of 1. By default, with a gap of 1. So if beginning year is 1900, 1900 will be taken, 1901 will be taken, and so on. What to do after this? After this, do exactly whatever we have typed, exactly the same thing. But now you need to move an extra 4 space because it has to be inside 4. So every line moved extra 4 space. Sorry. Oh, sorry. There is a mistake. Yeah. So I'm running. I will run, and as Sajid already suggested, I will first run. Okay. I'm copying and pasting the next program. Done. Oh, but again here, the indentation is the problem in Google Doc once again. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have modified it slightly. You just see. Indentation, while I copy pasted, it was not coming properly. I have edited it slightly. Try it. Let me know if you are getting the result or not. And let me know if you are finding something that you were not expecting. Please check that the spacing is like this, the indentation is like this. Okay, somebody has pointed out. Okay, I will tell you. I'll tell you that. The indentation is like this. After this, the first if is with a spacing of 4 spaces from the left. So I is starting at column number 5. Now print is inside 4 as well as inside if. Therefore, it must be at a space of 4 plus 4. This must start at 9. Okay, P must be starting at 9. I must be at 5, column number 5. This must be at 9. That means 8 spaces must be left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have some problem, take it to the margin and press the space bar 8 times. In Colab and all these things, pressing the tab may take you to somewhere else. I think it's better to just press the space bar. That's what it is. And here also exactly the same thing. Okay. Now, already I think some people have pointed out that 2022 is not appearing in the list, and some others have already found out that you need to include 2023. That's correct. That's a behavior of range. The range, the output of range always comes as range, start, stop, increment. This is the structure. Okay, range, start, stop, increment is the structure. So start means that where you want to start. Stop means that where do you want to stop, but this will be an interval. This is going to be an integer interval, and the result will be start plus 1, etc. Stop minus 1. This is the result. And this is basically because in mathematical terms, we can tell it to be close bracket start and opening bracket stop. This is what happens in the case of range. Closed start is a close. If you consider it as an interval, left closed, right open interval will be provided by this range. But since there are only integers, right open means that the last one will be definitely missing. Okay. There is a reason. There is, of course, a reason for that. We will come to that reason later. So if you want to include the end year also, 2022 also, you simply put, instead of putting in 2023, I think it's better to put end year plus 1, because if you put 2023, the problem is that, what is the problem? You may be thinking that you want up to 2023, but what you actually want is 2022 must be included, and the end year is 2022 in your logical sense. I think it's better to put end year plus 1 instead of that. End year plus 1. So this is not a part of the program. This is only for your information. I have covered it. So 2022 is also okay. Fine. This is the behavior of range. Okay, this is actually the behavior of range. Okay, so we have introduced a looping, what you call command or keyword in Python, and we mixed it up with if and elif and else. All these things are simultaneously mixed. Now there is another looping keyword available in Python that is known as a while statement. This for while statement or while keyword or whatever it is, this for as well as while, there is not much difference between this for as well as while. The only thing is that both of these things will be used for, can be used for the same purposes, but of course there are some structural differences are there. But sometimes people prefer while for performing computations which where the number of times to be repeated is not very clear. For example, in this 4 year in this command, it's very clear that we have to repeat from 1900 to 2022, in which this is within a specific range. Whenever specific ranges are included, 4 is preferred. Okay. But whenever such a such a thing cannot be actually clarified, cannot be actually determined in the beginning itself, while loop is used. We are going into a program for finding GCD of 2 numbers using while loop. Okay. After that, we will be moving into what I actually wanted was, okay, list and all these things. We will come back to come to that after this. Okay. New program I'm starting. I hope that all of you are completing the previous program. GCD while. That's a program I'm going to run. We know that GCD of 2 numbers we want to enter. We want to find out. So A equal to 1076. So I'm choosing some number which I remember immediately. 2076. 2 numbers. So program is to find the GCD of 2 numbers. So GCD of 2 numbers can be found in several ways. Okay. What is that? You can take the set of all divisors of A, set of all divisors of B. We will be showing even that. Set of all divisors of A, divisors of B, and after that, take the intersection, take the largest. That's one possibility. Not, of course, the easiest way to do, but in computer, for small numbers, that's also quite possible. The other way is to do the prime factorization of that thing. The other thing is to use the Euclidean algorithm for factorization. You'll use it. Sorry? We'll be using the Euclidean algorithm for that. Okay, we are going to use.
Dr. Preetham, please mute your mic.
Using Euclidean algorithm. Okay, that's a comment. So in the Euclidean algorithm, you need to remember that what exactly, see, this is something that I told in the beginning itself, that we will be able to make the Python compiler or Python interpreter. In fact, the computer do certain things only if we know exactly how to do that. Okay, in program, not in other things. If you do not know how to exactly do something in our own, we may not be able to convince, we may not be able to make the computer also do that. Okay, you cannot do that. So you should know first of all that what to do. So in this case, how do we apply the Euclidean algorithm? Euclidean algorithm basic step is take to write B is equal to AQ plus R. Now, what will you do in the second step? In the second step, what you are going to do is instead of B is equal to AQ plus R, you are going to write A is equal to Q naught. I will write probably R naught. I will write over here. A is equal to R naught. Q1 plus R1. So that means that initially you will break B into parts of size of A and take the remainder R0. You completely forget about Q0 after that. You don't have to worry about Q0 after that. But in this next step, you see, you compare the positions. In the first step, whatever was there in the position of B, in the second step, A is appearing. Okay. In the first step, whatever was there in the position of A, second step, R0 is appearing. Fine. So in the third step, what will happen? Again, third step once again. So comparing this, B instead of B, A came to the left. Okay, B, A came to the left, and R0 came to the position of A. Okay, this is the recursive step we are going to make use of. Okay, again and again substitute in the same way. Next step, what will happen? Next step is going to be R0 equal to R1 Q2 plus R2. So see that every time we are throwing away this Q0, we are not at all interested. Like we are interested only in the remainder. Take R0, take this part, move this to the position of B. So in one line, we are pushing the value of A into B, pushing the value of R0 into A. So every time R0 means remainder. Remainder means B percentage A. Okay, remember B percentage A. B percentage A is the remainder. We are pushing remainder to B percentage A to A, And before that, even before that, we have to do this operation in the proper sequence. A you will push to B, so B is now keeping the value of A. To A, now you are pushing the value of the remainder, which is B percentage. This process goes on like that until you get the remainder to be 0. When you get the remainder to be 0, the remainder just before that, or B percentage just before that, will be the GCD. That's what the Euclidean method is. I hope that I have clarified enough the mathematics behind that or logic behind that. So we will continue this process until when? How many steps may be required? We don't know. We don't exactly know that how many steps are required. The only thing we know is that we need to stop only when the remainder becomes 0. That's the only thing we know. So in such a case, for loop is not going to be much useful. For loop can be of course used. For loop is not much useful, not the direct choice. While loop is the choice. So while maybe in bracket or not in bracket, doesn't matter. Not equal. As long as the remainder is not 0, we will use it. We will do it. What we will do? B and A will become A and the remainder. That's it. Now, to see the in-between steps, we may probably ask that what exactly is happening. Print B, A, and the B percentage, just to see that what's going on. So I will explain what exactly is going to happen. Initially, 2076 modulo or percentage 1076 will be taken. It is not going to be equal to 0. So B will be assigned the value 1076. A will be assigned the value 2076 and minus AQ. The remainder will be 2076. 1076 will be appearing only once. Therefore, remainder will be 1000. So B will become 1076. A will become 1000. Next step again, the remainder is not 0 because the remainder is 1000. Again, the same thing will happen. But what is now A? A is now, the value of A is now the previous remainder, which is 76. So value of A will go to B, 76 will go to B. A will be assigned with the value 1000 divided by 76. It will go on like that. Okay, and each step will be printed. This is only for the purpose that we can see that what exactly is happening. GCD Y. Okay, let me run and see. To make it a little bit more attractive, separator and keeping as column. Okay, let me copy paste. Right, I have copy pasted. Remember that these lines are only for your information, and it is better to keep these lines so that you will easily understand that what is the sequence of things, how it's going on. You may try that. Separator I have included just for space doesn't look. These are numbers. I think it's better to be separated by column. Not necessary. Of course, you can drop that if you don't like. Okay. This is running for everyone.
They also need to print what is the GCD.
Exactly. That's the last line. You need to add that. So only that in between steps, not exactly the in between. All the steps are there, but we need to filter out that from these we can filter out that. See, this is little bit. This is informative actually. Last non-zero remainder we can see that this is 4. Okay, last non-zero remainder is 4. But where is 4 now exactly? 4 is not in B percentage because B and A have now changed. The last print you can see that B, A, B percentage A. B percentage A is now 0. It has become 0. That is not the GCD. So GCD is now available in A because previous B percentage was stored to A. Previous B percentage was stored to A. Therefore, the GCD is after coming out of this while loop, the GCD is inside the variable A now. But the thing is that now the values of A and B are lost. Okay. The values, we cannot print the GCD of A and B is this. We cannot print that. Because values of A and B, we kept on modifying it and we lost. So to avoid that, probably we need to use some C and D extra variables, store these values of C and D, A and B to C and D, then finally print the C and D. That's necessary. If you really want that, print. Otherwise, you will simply print GCD is of what is not possible to print now. Not B percentage A. B percentage is now 0. It is stored in A. From the sequence of printings, you can identify that's in A. Updated the good sheet. Line number 20, somebody, okay. So this simply means that B comma A equal to A comma B percentages simply means that this is a multiple assignment. You need to do like this only. Because if you if you are trying to do in the C way, I will tell you that C way also. If you write like this, B equal to A equal to B percentage, what will happen? What do you expect? B will become 1076. A will become 1076 modulo 1076. That's 1. That is not what we want. Right? That's not what we want. Here, the meaning of this line is push the value of A to B. Simultaneously preserving the value of B in a temporary variable. So the value of B is kept into some other temporary place. Python will take care of that. Then using the old value of B, find B percentage A, push it to A. Are you able to follow that? So if you use the C way, if you use the C programming way, then you should have done something like this. B is equal to C is equal to B, store B to some C, temporary variable. Usually we read it as temporary variable. Then put A to B. Then using the previous value of A, using the previous value of B, temp percentage A. This is actually the C way. Okay, C programming method follows this way. But Python is much more compact and easier in this. So that here you can simply write this statement. So the effect of the meaning of this statement is actually this.
So that's the kind of simplification which has been done in Python, and that is why you keep hearing Python is a simple programming language to learn. This is one such simplification, but there are many things.
There are many.
Yeah.
See, this was actually very surprising for me because see, this is just like suppose that you want to interchange the seats of two people, right? Suppose that you want to interchange the seats of people. One person straight away jumping into the other person, and the other person straight away jumping into this person is not going to work. They will hit. So for that, if you want to interchange the seats of two persons, one person should move to some temporary location. At least he needs to stand. At least he needs to occupy a new position. Then the previous person comes to his position, and the standing person occupies the vacant seat now. So whenever you want to interchange two variables, interchanging variables always involves an in-between variable, hidden or otherwise. In Python, it's hidden. You don't have to worry about that. But in C, it's not. C will not hide anything. You have to do it yourself. So that's the important thing about Python. Okay. So that's why we simply avoid all these statements. Not at all necessary to remember these things. But thing is that you should do it in single line. You should not do it in multiple lines. If you do it in multiple lines, the meaning is completely different. You cannot do that. Okay. I think with this, we can probably break for the lunch break. And what is the time to start? 2 o'clock, right?
2 o'clock, we are starting today.
So 55 by 55, everyone can log in.
Yes, yes. So in case any of you have some quick doubts, you can ask.
Yeah.
Regarding this session or regarding in general anything you want to ask. This morning also. Please mute yourself and then in case you are not asking anything. Yeah. So if you have
Okay.
Sir, how to save in Colab? By default in Colab, it automatically will get saved in your account. But you can go to file and then you can download in your system. You can download as a .pynb interactive Python file. So you can download. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, this program is
Okay, fine.
written. Hello.
Yeah, Yogesh, please go ahead.
This program is written in which Windows, I mean software. I joined late.
We are doing Python programming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Idle shell
so
to clear idle. Another thing, a problem in idle shell to clear the screen. So you don't have to clear anything. You simply close it and that's it. It's more than enough. Close that shell, keep the file open, and then if you are again running it, that it will be completely the new thing. It will all the times it restarts. The previous variables are never going to be stored in ideal shell. But if you want to clear the screen, it's quite simple. Just close it and again run the program. In idle, that's more than enough. In IPython interactive shell, you can press this control A. IPython. Yeah. I think that's it.
Another, any other question? Yeah, so I think let me stop recording first.